What's going on, y'all? Another week, another geek. We are back at it again with the Why I'm Geek show with your homies G and ChrisyLite. This is episode 105. 105 of them things, bro, and I'm super excited to get into this thing. Before we do, though, Chris, how you feeling today, Brody?
Amazing, amazing. One of the best weekends, long weekend. I'm feeling good, and we got a good show today. So, how you feeling, G?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm rested. I feel like
Okay.
I did do a sprint to finish this thing, but I feel good about it. I feel good. I'm glad that I was able to do that. Just because it was, like you said, it was a lot of stuff going on, cookouts, all that, you know. But yeah, man, today we're gonna be talking about Netflix's One Piece. Now, this isn't the normal anime we're talking about today. This isn't. I know we've been on our journey, but this is the live action TV series that we're gonna be taking a look into today. So, Chris, before we get into the whole show itself, today's stamp or not is: does anime belong in live action?
Man, I say yes. I know this gonna get a lot of grief, a lot of hate,
Okay.
but I just feel like it's just the next progression of things. Like anime is gonna transition to the big screen one day. It's gonna, get all the masses hyped and bring in a lot of people that never gave anime a chance. They want to see it in live action, just like we saw with Marvel, just like we saw with Iron Man. It's just gonna bring people together. It just takes the right anime, the right character, and then boom, we're gonna see live action everything, and hopefully a big, big plot story. And it just so happens today we're talking about One Piece, and hey, if you told me One Piece may be it, I'd be shocked. I would definitely be shocked because, like we've talked about, I've never been the biggest One Piece fan. I definitely love Naruto way more,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just convinced anime will follow the same path that the comic books have followed. They will transition to live action.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I think I've already seen like a lot of people that like I'll even see like Kai Cenat like after um like watching it was some clip of something, and he was
Mhm.
just like, do I need to start watching anime? Like it's just like anytime you reference anime and culture, it just always seems to like bring new people through the whole like
Yeah.
thing. So it's like you said, that makes a lot of sense that you it's like the natural order for sure.
So we're both double stamping this.
I would say yes.
Oh no. Okay.
I would say yes. It does belong. I'm not gonna sit here and say no, it doesn't. But it's only because like just because it's here doesn't mean like this is where it's, you're gonna see like the most heightened form of it, right? Because I've always said because like you went to Marvel and comic side of things when it comes to live action,
Yeah.
which makes sense, right? Just because like Spider-Man movie and stuff like that. But for me, my brain went to Star Wars, right? Because I feel like Star Wars is always best in animation. Like that's where you get peak Star Wars, and that's just because they can do more things that it's a lot harder to pull off. Maybe not now in today's age, but like at least like back when we first were starting to watch Star Wars movies, like it took a lot for those movies to even get made, right? So like for things like that to actually come together and actually work is going to take a lot. But now it's 2023, so like basically anything is possible, And with this show in the record books now, I think it says a lot more about who's making these films because now we have a reference to like, oh, like nah, this could actually be good. Because prior to this, the track record for live action animes has not been good whatsoever. If we're going all the way back to like the Dragon Ball, I forgot the name of it, but like it was like Xeno or something. I don't know, but it was just a live action Dragon Ball movie that was terrible. It was terrible, but you know, you go from there to like what Netflix has been doing, starting with like Cowboy Bebop, you know, and maybe even a couple more. I think it was like maybe Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know. I just know I didn't watch none of them. This is the first live action anime I've watched on Netflix, so you know that should say something at least. You know, but yeah, that's my
Okay, so
I
like a
stand.
stamp and a semi stamp.
Yeah, it's like got one with this one, but it's like,
Yeah.
is it really
We know
like?
where it really lies. Like, okay.
Yeah,
I feel you. I
yeah,
feel you.
yeah.
Well, I had another stamper knob for you
Okay,
specifically.
okay. Hit me with it.
We watching the One Piece anime, and I just want to
Hmm.
know, stamp or nah, do you think more live action will bring fans to anime?
I'm gonna say nah. I'm gonna say nah.
Oh,
And the reason why I'm gonna say that is because yes, it'll you'll have more people interested in anime, but once they actually get to it, I don't know if like that's gonna keep them there. You know, because like the live action One Piece is like a Spark Notes of the actual One Piece story. It's very concise, like scary accurate, but it's like the most like important parts all put together essentially in like a more cohesive story versus like what it's really like to watch in anime. You know,
especially with
so
all the CGI.
that's what I'm saying. So it's a lot to, when you're looking at like a older anime like One Piece where there's 1,000 episodes, right? And it's very daunting when you look at it versus like, maybe I'll just watch the live action ones, and you'll never like. There's more bad live action animes than there are, good ones. So will it make new fans? Possibly, but I think more than likely it's going to be harder for them to actually get into it. Maybe if it's like a newer anime that's like less stacked of like
Brand new.
things. Yeah, like where this like they can follow along. But like the only anime that are getting movies right now are like the legacy brands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So like
Huge followings.
that's what I'm gonna say, nah, but because I haven't known anybody like personally that was like, oh man, did you see the new One Piece that was already watching anime versus like that wasn't. Like I haven't
I
really like I don't know. I don't know.
It's
That's what
almost
I'm
like
thinking.
maybe they're grasping that at like a new generation.
Right. Right. Like this could definitely be the introduction to a lot of people to what anime could be, but it doesn't necessarily say like, oh, you should go watch this anime now. I feel like to me it's more so like, oh, this was a really good show, and I'm gonna just go to the next show after this. Like it didn't make me feel like, oh, now I gotta go watch the anime again. Like I don't know.
Mm, that's a good
That's
point.
me. That's just me though. But let's get into it a little bit, bro. Like what are your initial thoughts on like the show in general? Because I think you only got like maybe like 1 or 2 episodes in, you was already like, yo, we gotta do an episode on this for the pod.
Well, it's just funny because we do this every week, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I be forgetting what comes out, bro. I just be forgetting, and how I was so hyped. I was like, "Oh my god, finally we're at here where One Piece is here. I can watch it with my eyes."
Mm-hmm.
So I was just excited to watch the episode, and I went to sleep, and I was like, "Bro, we gotta at least do the pod on this," because I wasn't even sure if we planned what we were gonna do this week.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man, this live action, bro. This live action. It's an 11 out of 10. This is the best
Oh,
thing I've ever seen with my eyes, I swear. I
dang.
swear there's nothing anyone can convince me.
Okay.
This is the best stuff I've ever seen. As soon as it came on episode 1, I tried not to unveil my excitement through text message, but maybe it
Yeah.
came through. I am 1000 blown away how beautiful this is.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you go because I'm too hyped. All right, let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about it, G. How you
So
feel about this One Piece Netflix version?
so I went into this like knowing I was like, okay, because I watched the trailer for it. I reacted to the trailer like a while when it first got announced or whatever, right? So I was excited to watch the thing, but it was more so like I'll get to it when I get to it. I didn't think that the episodes was going to be as long as they were. If I knew how long the episodes were, I would have watched it a lot earlier than I did because, like I said earlier, I had to sprint to finish it. Um, but initial thoughts, I was like, yo, this is different. This is different. I don't know. I don't know if it's older. I don't know if it's just like because I'm in the middle of my One Piece journey right now, where like it's been a while since I even thought about the East Blue like beat like in this retrospect, and I'm just sitting here like, dang, like this is really happening live, And I spent a lot of like the first episodes just like trying to see how many little Easter eggs I could find because now I know a lot more about the story, which was really fun to see. So like little things like seeing Kuro's wanted poster in the Axeman's desk. And I was like, yo, I've seen that name before. Like, what is that from? And then get into the actual spot on Syrup Island, whatever, and seeing the freaking cat dude, the cat guy. I forgot his name. But yeah, like the cat pirates, something like that. But it was like that, and then like hearing Jinbei name, and it's just like, bro, I don't even remember this when I was watching it, but just sitting there knowing like more about the story than you know I did when I first watched it was super exciting, and then it just looked good too. You know, I wasn't really sold on Luffy per se, just because I think the voice don't really like it wasn't really hitting. I loved his mannerisms like as he was acting throughout the thing, but as far as like just getting the portrayal down and like it's like being able to see like yo we're actually watching these live right now, you know, and it was just that's what it was, bro. And I was excited. I was like, okay, now this is elite. But I will say when I was watching it, because I did know what was happening, there was some moments where I was just like, all right, let's come on, let's get to where we need to go. And I was dozing a little bit, right? But I think that I just attribute that to the weekend being like freaking crazy, and I was just tired anyway. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Maybe not as much as Chris. Maybe not as much as Chris, but I still like what I was seeing, you know. Um, but like as far as like the casting goes, how did you feel about the casting so far? 'Cause I said a little bit about what I was thinking, but what do you got on that?
I'm gonna save Luffy for later. I'm
Okay.
gonna come back to Luffy. Uh, all the Straw Hats. I
Mhm.
really love the casting.
Okay.
I really love it. The side characters. I
Yeah.
love them. I think they did such a good job with the side characters. Shanks's
Mhm.
character,
Mm.
I love that dude so much. I really, really, really hope there's more so I can see him at his full potential.
Mhm.
That there is some weird uniqueness to changing these characters from anime to live action and
Yeah.
seeing them work in this space that I just really liked. It wasn't like fully like real, but
Mhm.
then it was still kind of its own. And I feel like even when I watch One Piece, when I watch the anime, I kind of feel like I'm in its own world anyway.
Mhm.
Like there are these exaggerated things in One Piece that happen. So I really like that I could see that in the live action. The only Straw Hat that I had an issue with was Usopp. I liked his version better,
Yeah.
but like his character, it didn't like shine as much as Usopp did in the original. And for me, I hate Usopp. Like he's so annoying. He's so freaking annoying. But
Ah.
for they like dumbed him down. He's more like enjoyable for like a casual viewer. But if you're coming from the anime perspective, I kind of feel like they like lessened his character and made him feel like a less important Straw Hat member. So that
Mhm.
so that's like the only character really that I was kind of like, eh. I loved Garp. I kind
Garp.
of liked
That boy
that
was
they
clean, bro. That boy was clean.
yeah. I
That
kind
suit
of
was
wanted him
like fit.
swole.
Yeah.
I
But
wanted him a little bit more swole, but that dude,
nah.
he made me think like, damn, he looked like Garp so much. But I
Yeah.
like the way they interjected him more in the story,
Mhm.
especially for the what is this season called? Like the all blue, not all blue,
East Blue.
East Blue storyline. I like that how he kind of like fetches the warlord Hawkeye
Mm.
to Luffy and them to like go get them. I like that better than like Hawkeye just meandering out
Right.
of the Grand Line and just coming like I felt like this director or whoever it is did such a great job of figuring out, looking through the story, how can we make it a little bit better? How can we make it more concise, especially when we have 8 hours? And
Yeah.
like you said, it is long, but I feel like there was a issue with how big these stories are, potentially 8 to 10 episodes long. They have to that you have to fit in maybe 45 minutes to an hour long episode.
Mm.
And
To
sometimes it
cover a
was
whole
like
arc.
a whole arc, like two in the same episode.
Yeah.
And I just think they did a very great job of just doing, like you said, the footnotes. I feel like they got everything that they needed. They made that whole Marine Kobe arc
Hmm.
throughout the series great. They did a good job of telling about the Emperors of the Sea or Warlords of the Sea. Um, was it Warlords? Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Warlords.
Warlords. Yeah.
The hinting at Jimby, the stuff that they could hint at, they
Hmm.
told it in a way that didn't feel like forced upon or anything. It's just like side talk.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just really made me say, like, if I've never seen One Piece,
Yeah.
this is a really interesting pirate story. And if I have seen One Piece, I feel like, dang, they got a lot of the East Blue storyline
Hmm.
in 8 hours.
Yeah.
But overall, I really can't think of a single character that I really, really, really hated. I like what they did with Arlong. I love what they did with Buggy, making him more of a character that comes along the whole
Hmm.
ride. And now Luffy.
Oh,
All right.
Luffy. Oh, Luffy.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Okay.
I do not think they could have found a better character for Luffy. I don't think they could have cast a better person for Luffy because to me,
Okay.
this was impossible. I
Yeah.
don't think they ever would have been able to cast a a person to encapsulate
Hmm.
kind of what Luffy brings about. This nonchalant, happy-go-lucky, serious, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. And what was this actor name? Uh, I, Ineka. If he like the way he pronounces stuff, I
It
was kind of
fries
like,
me.
this
It
is
fries
this
me,
is
bro.
weird.
I hated it.
Yeah, it makes me feel like, that's not how Luffy would do it. But
Yeah.
as it went along, I was kind of like, Luffy is so unique that I
Yeah.
kind of feel like it's another version anyway. It's
Hmm.
not necessarily, when I look at all the Straw Hats, they're not exact replicas of their
Yeah.
version. They're all unique versions. So once I started getting more episodes in me, I was like, okay, I can kind of see this is like a reenactment of Luffy, and
Hmm.
it's not as jolly, it's not as silly, not as hungry as
Hmm.
normal Luffy, but I kind of felt like, okay, this is a unique Luffy. It felt good. And I feel like a lot of actors would have went too hard on the like nonchalantness, goofiness. Like I feel like it's just the right amount where it's cool enough that I can rock with it. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say it is actually a perfect casting of Luffy. And then I'm done. And then I'm done. I'm gonna let G go. I'm gonna let G go.
I think the only perfect casting was Zoro. I think Zoro was like exactly how I remember him to be, like at this stage in the story, and how, every question was just like a one word answer. It was like little snide remarks, and like, to me, the best choreography in the whole thing, bro. Like it was elite, right? But to harp back on what you were saying about Luffy, I do agree that like when you're doing something like this, you don't want that actor just to be a carbon copy of what you already know. You want them to bring something new to the table, right? And the whole gumba gum, like, I was like, bro, I don't know how much I can take of this, bro, because I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that part. But everything else outside of that, and the way that he was able to communicate with his crew and everybody that you know essentially became his crew along the way. To me, it spoke the confidence that I expect from Luffy without all of the drama. Like for
Yeah.
me, like I feel like the only thing that was really missing out of that character was that, like, even in the moments where are like were make or break moments for me at least in this show. Um, to be specific, when Nami asked for help, that was a moment for me where I was like, oh, Nami did her thing, but Luffy did not deliver. And I don't know if it was because of the way that it was shot, where it was like I was expecting, like how the anime was, this big shadow to be across Luffy's whole face, where you only see just like the bottom of his face, and you could tell he's like mad serious, right? Or it was just because it's just different, and it still gives off the same effect of like this is something serious that's happening, but I think because this is a more condensed version and all the decisions that the directors had to make to get us to that point, there wasn't enough baggage built up as far as like what they decided to cut out and leave in, like, and that's just how it is sometimes. But like I do think all of them did good. Like, and I don't think nobody really had a bad performance per se. But I did catch myself a lot going like, like, dang, like Nami not Nami enough right now. Like Usopp. Usopp is funny, but like it's funny to the point where I definitely is like, okay, nobody really believes. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of things that are specific to the characters that are very nitpicky that we could get into, but because that's not the goal of what they're trying to do. Like
Yeah.
when you watch the whole episode and they say on there based on One Piece, like Oda's One Piece, right? So there's certain liberties that they're gonna have to take, make it different, and to make it right. I think probably one of my favorite things about it that wasn't necessarily like story driven or specific to what was going on at that moment was the title cards, the graphics. Like every episode had a different Jolly Roger, every episode had a different color scheme type thing as far as the intro. And then the wanted posters. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like just
Never seen something like that.
little things that you don't necessarily pay attention to on certain characters that might not be as important, but when they do get introduced, it's like, oh, nah, I'm gonna remember, you know. And it was awesome, bro. It was awesome. Um, I do want to know, how do you think things are gonna go forward after this?
You
Because
want my honest opinion?
because it's gonna get tricky with characters like Chopper, with the how the transponder snails look to how the seagulls look or whatever. Are they seagulls? Little male
Yeah.
youngins. Like when
Yeah.
things get more One Piece, how are they going to respond? Because like the fishmen weren't like super bad,
Yeah.
but they stood out, which I guess they should. So like how do you think about that?
My honest opinion, I'm a big stock person, big businesses. This thing
Yeah.
gonna cost money, bro.
Yeah.
They're gonna cost Netflix a lot of money to the point where the only way I can see this going forward is you add another season and then you start putting in the movie theaters. There,
Okay.
there is just no way possible.
Wait, hold up. You
Yep.
add more money and put it in the movie theaters?
So season 2, you come out with another 8 episodes or so, and then when you have a big arc coming up, you gotta make a live action movie. There's just no way the series is gonna continue with the amount of CGI that they need
Yeah.
going into the future. Netflix is gonna be burning cash if they keep producing this thing.
Hmm.
The Gum Gum, his abilities already,
Yeah.
I was mesmerized how well they did it.
Yeah.
The choreography of the sword fighting, we're in the beginning. It's gonna
Yeah.
get more expensive. It's gonna get more intense.
How did you feel
Um,
about the chop chop fruit with Buggy?
I kind of liked it, but it was cool enough for TV,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Okay.
But kind of like what you're saying, as we get along with more and more effects,
Mm-hmm.
especially like in the future, Ace, we just gonna need more money. There is just no
Yeah.
way you can produce a good product, especially when we're getting to the One Piece storyline,
Mm-hmm.
without throwing more money at it. Look at Garp's ship; it looks really cool. The
Yeah.
the ships are just gonna get bigger and better. The
Mm-hmm.
storylines of Gold D. Roger are gonna get bigger and better. Even if when we get into the dragons' abilities, they're gonna get bigger and better. And maybe you can go one more season. You can go in the snow. You can go in the desert. You can play
I
around
don't
with
know.
Smoker.
I don't even know if they could do that.
Yeah, but
Cause what's
once we
Chopper gonna
start
look
thinking
like,
about
bro?
it,
What's Chopper gonna look like, bro?
yeah, what's Chopper? Chopper is gonna be a CGI
Oh
monster.
my goodness, bro.
And if we know Game of Thrones, how
Man.
expensive dragons are, Chopper is only gonna be a burning hole in Netflix's pocket. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, the only way they can keep this going is you do a season 2. It does great ratings again, and that's where you'll get the peak. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, I need more Netflix. I need more." Maybe it becomes Netflix's highest standing show, and then you start transitioning to movies. You put a whole
How
two
does that
hour
help?
arc.
How does that help Netflix though?
It just gives them more money. You start
Nah.
having some type of series that can transition to movies, and then that helps you fund the future projects of One Piece. Because there ain't no way. I don't know how expensive these episodes are.
Yeah.
They got to be expensive. They have to be.
Yeah. I don't think Netflix is gonna be a part of it after this. I think Netflix is gonna be the origin. But if they're gonna continue it like you're saying and put it in movie theaters, Netflix not gonna have the bag for that. And they don't get anything out of that. Like maybe if it's like a one-off movie,
Yeah.
like and just be one movie, right? Not a whole series, and put it on there, and
Yeah.
then also,
That's what I'm talking about. Just like a big arc in the
hmm
movies, so then people can pay, and they
but
can
that
pay for more stuff compared to
right,
like just the streaming numbers giving them revenue. You know what I mean?
right, but that's more of a One Piece bag than a Netflix bag. Like that's more of like I don't see Netflix. I mean, I'm not in the business rooms at all, but you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see how that makes Netflix money outside of it being like they have a specific deal with whoever owns One Piece. Like how with Disney owns Marvel, right?
Yeah.
So when Disney puts out a movie in theaters, comes out on what you call like a month later. So like if it's like that, okay, but I guess it just depends on what we see first. Like, cause in this sense, we will see it on. If you're going to show it on streaming first, I don't see why you would put it in a movie theater after. You know,
No,
and,
I'm saying the future stuff. Like you would have to have a big arc in movies to get a lot of money,
mhm.
and then you'd put it onto your platform again, just like Disney. But for what we're seeing for a One Piece like reenactment,
Yeah,
like it's gonna cost a lot of money, and
yeah,
there's no way they're gonna get it just from putting out seasons, putting out seasons, putting out seasons.
yeah. I don't
Like
see it happening through seasons. It's got to be straight up
yeah,
movies. Yeah,
and to me, I think they may have something here with One Piece where they could potentially make a movie, all I'm saying is the movie be something very important, and then the next one be the one everyone wants to see, which is gonna be uh Marine Ford.
if
Like
that's the
that's a
first movie, that would be elite.
bruh.
That would
That
be
would be
elite.
and that's all I'm saying because that type
Yeah,
of movie,
yeah.
even if Netflix bleeds money for 3 seasons, maybe I don't know how long it would take for them to get that far.
It'd probably take 5, bro.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
we're going
I
by
think
8 episodes, like each,
I'm
it's
thinking maybe if they can get to that movie,
Yeah.
say they release a Netflix movie on big screen, I think
Yeah.
they could do Marvel movie numbers and it would pay off where people are like, "Whoa, what
Mhm.
is this? This was really good."
Yeah. Because at that point, you just,
Yeah,
give it
I
to the
don't think it would
highest
flop.
bidder. Like, I don't know if Netflix can hold that though. Like,
I
I
think they
think,
would. I think they would. I think they would try to springboard other shows to like,
hmm
hey, and this new Netflix movie's coming out. This new blah blah blah. They try to get more IPs where they'll say, okay, maybe series and spin-off movies. That's
yeah.
all I'm saying for as far as like how can they continue this going forward?
hmm
Because if we're just gonna go with another season, I definitely think this will just die off as like, hey, that was a fun One Piece thing. But if they want to continue
Yeah.
this,
I mean,
I
this is the
think they
perfect
may.
show to do it to because it's endless content.
It seems like it,
It's
right?
endless content, bro. Because if you think about it, like trying to fit in as much content that there is in One Piece versus like what they did with Death Note, which is only like I think 2 seasons, maybe one, or Cowboy Bebop, which is like 26 episodes or something like in total.
Yeah.
That's different. That's more of a open and closed situation. But for a story that's still going on, like they're going to have to really see, like people are going to have to watch it more than once,
Yeah.
like for them to really be like, oh yeah, we're going to invest this bread into it. Because like right now, like on the algorithm, as far as like what you see on Netflix, of course it's going to be number one because that's what they want you to go watch. But because they like these platforms don't release the streaming numbers, we'll never really know like
Yep.
how much money they're actually making versus like what it's taking to make these.
Yeah.
And
How much
then
is an episode of this? You know, it's
yeah,
got to be a lot, bro.
yeah, and then
Com-
also like the cast itself, like how are they going to be able to keep them all together, right?
Mhm.
Because there's only so many time skips that you can do where it's
And
like,
like all I'm thinking is maybe they could have maybe two movies,
mhm,
and the last one really be the one that pays off the entire series. Because once they do a time skip, let's
yeah,
be honest, maybe that would be way too far in the future, and all these actors will be no longer be straw hats. And
yeah.
we're just being realistic.
Because a lot of these youngins are like not necessarily early in their careers, but like as far as like the Straw Hats specifically, but they don't have, at least the ones I looked up, they don't have a lot of movies in their back pocket where they like
100%.
I've never seen a lot of these youngins before,
Yeah.
essentially,
And
you know?
think about it. If you're thinking 4 to 5 seasons to get to Marine Ford,
Yeah.
geez, that's already like 7 years, 8 years.
hmm Decade.
So I think maybe if they just think about a decade arc of One Piece and then you just
hmm
end it at the time skip, I think that will pay it off. I think it would be box office 2 times. We're in there. Big money, cash out, check please.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. We'll see how that progresses. You're putting it out there, so you know what I'm
Hey,
saying.
hey, give me season two at least. Give
If
me
Chris
season two at
call it,
least.
I mean, I think they could because honestly, like if you're gonna do a live action, One Piece is definitely one of the best ones to do it with because the things that they do and the like from all the different devil fruit powers to just it still like has a a basis in it being about regular people, right? Like there's not like a lot of time is spent just having conversations, and then
Yeah,
like you'll have your moments where you got to put mad money into it, right? But it's not like Dragon Ball where everything is a beam struggle, everything is like you know high paced, high action. Like this is still humans at the
yeah.
end of the day that just have certain
Powers.
abilities. Yeah, and it's like very few and far between. But when they do link up, that's a different story, And being able to condense a lot of this stuff is going to help with that as well. Because like I think like the coolest one, nah, maybe not the coolest one, but the one that made me like realize what was actually happening as far as like what they were doing with a lot of the filler episodes, was when Zoro was hurt and Nami was reading him a story,
Yeah.
and the story was a filler arc that I remember specifically being like, yo, why am
Nolan.
I watching this? Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, like they just flexing on us at this point. That's what it felt like. Um, but speaking of Phyllis, so like, how did you feel about the uh pacing for this joint?
I
Okay,
loved it. I loved it.
okay,
It's just long because
yeah,
of an hour and
mm-hmm,
me realizing what they're trying to fit in each time.
yeah,
But, something like that, the Nolan story arc, they threw that in there. And in my mind, I was like, okay, we're filling up the hour with this story. But then I thought about, like, how else would they introduce this storyline? You
mm-hmm,
know, how else are they going to explain Warlords? How else are they going to introduce Jimby? How else are they going to do 1,000 other stuff that they've been explaining? And,
yeah,
they're really not. Like, it when we watch the anime, they have extra time to cut to something else or a side character or Usopp going out by himself and talking to someone. But having these little moments. What was the Don Creed or whatever his name was, the bad guy, the pirate,
which one?
uh the pirate that attacks
Cocoa Village or whatever.
no, the Sanji's restaurant. I can't remember the name of it.
Arlong? No.
No, no. In the anime, remember
Oh,
Luffy defeats the pirate, Don
oh,
Creed,
oh
something like
yeah. I
that.
don't remember. I know who you're talking about. It was the pink haired
So
dude though.
yeah, so in
Yeah.
this, they pretty much instead of him attacking the restaurant,
Hmm.
Hawkeye is already fighting him, kind of
Yeah.
like he's already defeating him. I
Hmm.
love how they just completely highlight that he's still there,
Yeah.
but quickly like let a different alternate path where Hawkeye's finishing him up, and he's like, "Okay, I'll be over there and help you
Right.
out with this problem."
Right. It's
Um,
like if you know type thing.
yeah, and I feel like they did such a good job with all those like, because
Hmm.
that's not a filler, but it's like
Yeah.
filler things that you can do. You can put it in the story, but not like miss out on it. Like, oh, it's another pirate. Is it
Hmm.
an important pirate? If you watch the anime, it's not really, but you
Yeah.
get more context. But they
Hmm.
didn't like leave them out. And I
Hmm.
feel like they did such a good job with any type of filler that they could have possibly handled. The only one, the only one that I was a little sad about was they didn't have the dude in the little tiny chest. I was
Oh
like,
yeah. I
bruh,
remember that. That was
if
so
he,
random.
if they randomly do that,
Yo.
just a hint, like if they would have knocked Buggy onto
Right.
that island and then
Yeah.
him just pop out and then like they cut to the next episode, I would laugh.
Yeah.
But
Right. Because
that's
they
all.
gave us a little bit when they had Buggy with his hands and feet.
Yeah,
We got to see a little bit of that, but not
like the
like fully.
ridiculousness of One Piece.
Yeah. Yeah. But like if because there's definitely those points in the episodes, but for me, I was thinking about just like the different themes that One Piece has, and I think for sure this show is a lot more focused as far as like about what they want you to take away from these episodes, and that is basically
Okay.
like just to follow your dreams and don't let anybody say you can't do something. Forget what anybody else is talking about. Just do what you want to do. Type beat, essentially, right? Whereas like when I was watching the anime, those moments happen, but it's not as overt. It's a lot more like I'm focused on the adventure and the world a lot more than these small, minute um, storylines until they're important. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like when they're important and when it's supposed to happen, like it makes sense. But I don't remember how many times I heard Luffy being like, "Well, why is everybody talking like this?" And like, you know, you should just do what you want to do. Why you care about what this person has to say about it? Like that's your dream. I would never, like things like that where I was just like, okay, like I get it. Like we know you want to be king of the pirates, but it's because they take that time to really establish that it makes to me the movie or the I say the movie because essentially every episode is a movie, right? Um, it makes these episodes a lot stronger by themselves. Like I'm thinking about if I'm a new person watching this, I can already tell like what these characters are about, and then why they're also choosing to stick with Luffy and continuously choosing, like, regardless of their situation, like, dang, this is why I'm sticking with this dude because he's the captain, you know. And it's cool to see that happen, um, outside of them like directly telling you, but
Yeah.
through actions. I think that's cool. Um, but yeah, that's just one of the main themes that I remember from that
And
joint.
something to piggyback on what you kind of said is they definitely highlighted more in this season than they originally did in the anime about Luffy struggling to be the
Hmm.
captain.
Hmm.
And I feel like they started that only in like Water 7
Yeah.
ish area with the whole Usopp and him
Hmm.
and them kind of trying to go forward with their pirate adventure.
Right.
But in the live action, they did a good job of Luffy already from the get go. The crew kind of telling him like, this
Yeah.
is how being a captain is gonna be. And I kind of feel like the director and the writing team is just really thinking about how the anime is, seeing that it is an older anime,
Hmm.
and realizing as Oda wrote it, he evolved himself and and or kind of drawing back to
Hmm.
what would they have done if they rewrote the beginning? What have
Hmm.
and I just really like how you know um they talked to Luffy earlier, talked to him about the struggles of being captain, and
Yeah.
even Luffy just still
That
sticking
weight.
up like yeah, that weight bearing down on him.
Hmm.
And I do agree with you. There is a lot of Luffy kind of overbearing the follow your dreams, but
Right. Talk
there's
no
no way
jutsu.
they yeah. But
Hmm.
there is definitely no way of conveying how much Luffy is about everyone following their dreams and how he runs his crew kind of like he wants everyone to follow their dreams because his dream is to be king of pirates and no one's going to
Hmm.
stop him from doing that.
Yeah.
But in the anime, he sort of lets everyone like he won't get in anyone's way of following their dreams. But how do I say it? Kind of like when Nami got on him for not stopping Hawkeye
Hmm.
from slashing um or killing
Zoro.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoro. Uh Luffy Zoro was kind of like I I will be the best swordsman for you. Like if
Yeah.
you're gonna be king of the pirates, I promise I'll be the best.
I'll
Like
never lose again, as we say.
yeah, it
Yeah.
and
Like
sometimes
this.
in live action it doesn't like come across the same, you know?
Yeah. No,
And
it's
that was
because of the
another moment.
waterworks. It's the waterworks that we're missing. It's like those little things that and that happen in animation that could never happen in live action,
It just
right?
can't.
Like the tears that we got to see anybody show express on the anime is going to hit different than what we see in live action because it's like literal real
100%,
people,
bro.
right? Like
Yeah.
there was a part like the way that Nami turned around once Luffy put her hat on and like we could barely see a
She
teardrop. Like I was like, wow. I was like, dang, that like this is hitting, but if I didn't know how much it hit in the anime, I don't know if that would still be the same, like same reaction. That was more so like reacting to the fact that I'm watching it in, which is I could say it happens a lot with this show, reacting to the fact that this is happening in live action versus like it being that good in the moment, which is why like for me like I think this joint was good overall, but I don't think they've mastered the formula yet. Like it's definitely better than, a lot of what's already out. But I think if it wasn't for this being One Piece and it being the masterpiece that it already was, and them having a lot to pull from, it would be a lot harder to make something different and
Mhm.
more like um not applicable, but like I guess appetizing to somebody that has never even watched the show before, or watched the anime or anything like that. Like, I think this has more mass appeal than a normal live action anime would.
Mhm.
That makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, I just think normal people would just like the pirate story normally, and
Mhm.
the abilities don't seem too exaggerated that they feel
Yeah.
like it's an easy way to get into it, not knowing the future of it.
Hmm. So how do you feel about the antagonists in this thing? Like main ones being Buggy
Oh,
and Arlong.
bro, I it's this thing that if everyone watches our podcast all the time knows about me. I love when they hint early and it pays off later. I love that they hinted early about Arlong being like the main antagonist. I love they hinted early. I think episode 2, Nami was like evil or working or doing something
Little
mischievous in the
snail.
background. Yeah, early,
Yeah.
because to me that makes it pay off way more because the rest of the episodes you're kind of figuring out, is she good, is she bad, and then even sometimes it's like, oh, she's about to leave the crew and then she doesn't.
Hmm.
So it just is like, where is this paying off? And it's like, boom, she split off, but then Luffy comes back and it's like, no, we're going after her. No, I know she's good, and it's just kind of like it makes it those episodes feel so much worth it. And
Yeah.
especially if you're a brand new viewer, you don't know any of these people, you know?
Hmm.
And even the whole time, Nami and Zoro are like, we're not a part of your crew. Like, no, we're
Yeah.
not. So it's just kind of like he's just bringing these like random strangers
Hmm.
along, and I just
They even
love.
question that too in the show. They're like, "Yo, like, how do you know that she's good, or how do you know you can
Yeah,
trust this person?" And Luffy was just like, "It's the same feeling I had when I tied you, when I cut you off the rope or whatever. Same feeling I had when I met
yeah,
Usopp or Nami." And it's like, I just know, and it allows you to really understand who these characters are, and that
and go
trust that
back to
begins
those
to flow.
episodes when he met them.
Exactly, exactly. So,
But I loved how it tied back like Arlong
mhm,
and Buggy. At first, I didn't really like Buggy, but he was like such a
mhm,
big character in episode 2 that it made me like the show more because it was like
yeah,
episode 1 was really good, and then episode 2, Buggy was just so exaggerated, but they made Buggy seem so intimidating at the end of
mhm.
episode 1. And then I
No
just love the
canon
fact,
though.
no canon,
No
but I
canon.
love the fact that they let Buggy be a part of the whole journey. Like he
Hmm.
was a part of how they tracked him down. He left the ear in the hat.
Hmm.
Uh and it kind of made me like feel like, Buggy is such an important character that he's gonna be back in this series. That it
Yeah,
was cool to see him more than just like episode 2 and then he's gone. Kind
yeah.
of like how the anime does it, where it's like antagonist gone,
Filler
antagonist gone.
arc. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just feel like the director just did a great job of knowing how a TV show should work. How do you keep
Hmm.
an audience entertained? And how do you keep an audience guessing? And that's what I really love about when directors do that. So shout out to all the antagonists. I loved all of them. Like I said, I can't even think of a bad thing about the antagonists unless you got one. Give
Well,
me one.
the only thing I didn't like necessarily was the like they definitely got the chop chop fruit right, because like anytime we saw that joint outside of like when he was completely chopped up was choppy. Just it was like you could tell when the the animation ended and the real life person began again, because it
Yeah.
would just be like a little subtle turn. Maybe I just, because I was looking for it essentially, I didn't stop it and was like, oh, let me see how this is gonna work, anything, but it was just something I was curious about after watching the trailer. um so outside of that, I think the antagonists were pretty good because I think Buggy did a good job early on, just helping us establish like who Luffy is as a character and what he cares about, and give him a chance to like really express like what makes him him essentially, because the way that he was trying to torture him didn't make sense, right? Like, made absolute no sense. He could stretch, so we're going to stretch him more, right? Like, he literally has knives that he can chop. Like it's in his name. That's besides the point, right? But I was a little disappointed in the fact there was no canon, the fact that like of how immediately we jumped into the circus part where like we didn't even get to see the town essentially first, and then him being locked up in the cage, and it was all of them, and it was like a lot of stuff happening, right? So like at that point, I was still getting used to the dynamic that is the plot of it being like condensed, and you're not going to see exactly how everything happens.
Yeah.
But Buggy as a character, I think was pretty spot on, pretty spot on. As far as Arlong though, the voice went crazy. Like
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah, it
voice,
did.
the voice went crazy, right? I think the background music was a little distracting at times when it came to his theme
The
songs and
hip
stuff like
hop.
that. Yeah, I was like, bro, we don't need this. We don't need
That
this.
it
But
was getting me every time. I was like, "Yo, this man walk on,
I'm
play the
saying,
black music." I was like, "Wait a
I'm
minute,
saying, bro, I'm saying,
Arlong."
and that's even like to bring up the fact of like, all right, who did they choose to make black? That
Yeah.
wasn't black in the what you call it. I was just like, yo, okay, I see where y'all
Yo,
head
they
is at.
did, they
I
did.
see where y'all head is at, you know. But that's it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I won't even let him, it's all right. But um he as far as the things that Arlong did to the environment, from him swimming and to like just the way he moved and stuff like that outside of his actual fights, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all his different little monologues. I enjoyed like his um I'm gonna call it a fishman complex, right? Because of how much he hates humans, and like just, you know, getting to first um see that disconnect as far as like how fishmen are treated and humans are treating them, essentially with their history and things like that. That was like, as far as like where I'm at in the actual anime right now, that's very important. That's very important to what's going on. So that was a cool thing to see early on. And I just think though, like the fact that they made his title screen so cool, and we got to see his sword, and he barely got to use it. He barely
That's the
got to use it.
yeah, it was so quick. I don't know why they
Oh
decided to do
my
that.
gosh, bro! It was the action parts that was like, man, I think the cat dude was a better action person than Arlong. You know what I'm saying? And they even cut out portions of what he even was supposed to be doing. You know, because how Luffy even learned how to beat him was like different. Like it was just like, bro, get it. I don't get it. But
Yeah,
that's just like some of the
they
things you
they
gotta
just
cut out.
skipped to it. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just skipped to how he beat him. I was like, "Dang, I felt
Yeah.
like the build up to Arlong, the fight should have been longer, and they could have just skipped the
Mm-hmm.
whole Garp and Luffy face off. Like it didn't need to
Right.
be
Like I didn't
even be
need
that
that.
long." Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't even need it completely.
yeah. Like I didn't need that at all. Because like for me, like I want to see what these characters can do. And that is always going to be the challenge when you're dealing with live action. Like the Gatling was elite, but we only got one. You know,
Yeah.
like we only got one. I think the battle axe was good, as far as like what happened, and the thing I was like, oh, that added a half point on my list as far as like how the fight ended. Um, and just like Luffy's decision making in that moment was very like not normal for how he fights up until that point. You know, like his battle IQ hasn't really been tested. Anytime he's done something, whether it was like using the gum balloon and shooting a cannon back that TKO'd the boat immediately, right? Garp's boat. Like when he said he didn't know how he do that, I was like, bro. I was like, all right, maybe he didn't know. Like I don't remember exactly when he learned how to do that,
Yeah, it's
but
kind of like, did he ever know to
yeah,
do this stuff? Sometimes it's just like, are we watching him discover it
yeah.
in episode? Because they don't never tell us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I don't know, bro. It could have been better. That part could have been better, but
Yeah.
Arlong the character was good. and I enjoyed him on the screen, bro. Um, but I don't know. That's all I really got though. Like I feel like as far as like if I'm going to talk about the show as a whole, because it was more of a sprint. I don't know. I don't know if that helped it or hurt it. Because there was definitely parts where I was just like, we'll just walk away real quick. I know what's going on. Like, like there's definitely those moments as well. But um, it was fun though. It was fun and I enjoyed it. But that's all I really got on that. Joe, you got any closing thoughts on it?
Shout out to Kaya. I thought they did a better job with her character in the live action than in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
She felt even more like a connection to Usopp
Mm-hmm.
in this one. Mihawk, perfect casting. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
How accurate they got that dude. I
And
love the
and
fact
they
that they
showed up
did that
early
scene.
on too. When at the gallows or whatever, when Gold Roger was first killed, I was like, why are they
They
showing
did.
him right there? I was like,
They
oh,
did.
okay, that's cool.
And
That's
that's really
cool.
cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love the Shanks guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they got that guy.
Nah, why was they in the boat though, and not in the water?
I said that too. I was like, it would have been much tougher for him to be floating. I wonder
Yeah.
why that was a creative choice.
Yeah.
But
Because in the anime, you know how hard it is to tread water and not
yeah, it makes
be
way more
like,
sense.
yeah, it makes way more sense. I was like, I was waiting for it. Shanks, your arm. I was
Yeah.
waiting for that part.
Sanji, I I kind of wish his voice was a little weird to me too. I just expected
Mm-hmm.
him to be a little different. But
Yeah.
I do like Sanji's character. His kicking looked
Mm-hmm.
way better than I imagined. I thought it was gonna
Yeah.
just look so stupid, so ridiculously dumb. But the kicking looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think, like you said, um, Buggy. Buggy was surprisingly, he really grew on me. I didn't really like him at first, but he really grew on me. I'm glad what they did. Oh, whatever that dude's son's name was, the one with the blonde haircut dude, he was a really good foil to Kobe, the Marine guy.
Oh, I know you're talking about haircut.
Like, yeah, the haircut dude.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good foil to Kobe,
Kobe
and they,
was good.
yeah.
Kobe
But
was
in the
good.
anime, it kind of felt like that dude was just annoying, and then they
Mm-hmm.
grew up, and it's like, okay, they're Marine buddies, you know. But
Yeah.
this one, it kind of felt like, oh, okay, I see the development. I see
Mm-hmm.
him,
Because if
you know,
he's
being
not there to challenge Kobe all the time, Kobe never really gets that chance to make those decisions for himself. But it makes
exactly.
sense.
So,
It makes
so
sense.
I really liked him too, and that's good. Uh, I can't wait. They have to do a season 2. If not, I'm gonna riot Netflix.
Yeah. No way they show
Gotta-
Smoker and then not show Smoker.
Yo, like they didn't even have to do a lot. Them just showing
Yeah.
Smoker just burn the little thing. I was like, why is this so tough? I
Yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So since it's so tough, bro, are you sticking with your 11 out of 10 that you said earlier for your ranking or what? What's up?
Nah. I'm gonna drop it down to 10 straw hats out of 10. I
Okay.
I think this is the best. Maybe they could have done better with Usopp. Maybe show a little bit more fight in Usopp, but it
I
didn't
don't think
matter.
Usopp was bad. I don't
Okay,
think
that's
Usopp
good.
was
That's good.
bad.
I like him better than normal Usopp, but I just don't think he's as like he doesn't stand out as much uh compared to the other Straw Hats. But
Yeah. I just
hey,
like
I'm gonna
how
stick with
like
10.
yeah. I liked how for Usopp every time he did something, it was like nobody saw it. So it just bled into that character of just like nobody's ever going to believe him, but he doesn't care, and
And
I
even
respect
Luffy
that.
was just like, I don't care either. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what happened, y'all.
he's like 3 cheers for Captain Usopp. I was like, bro, get out of here with that.
Yeah. He was like, oh yeah.
Right. So, it was definitely giving like Disney Channel vibes. I'm not gonna cap.
Yeah,
Like
sometimes.
with his humor, it was giving that type of vibes. But okay, so you gave it a 10 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah. The
All
best I've
right.
seen in the East Blue.
All right. All right. So
And what you gonna give it? What you gonna give it?
I had it at an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
But the thing that changed my mind was Nami. Nami was she just made me fall asleep, bro. Like for the longest time, I did not like Nami all the way up until she actually
Those
got in
last
her
two episodes.
bag. Yeah, like that's when I
Oh,
first saw Nami for real. In that moment, like once she made a decision to stay and watch Zoro get beat up, I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, Nami's here. Nami's here. Because before that, she was just rude, bruh. And I did not like that. I did not
yeah.
like that. And then when she actually was like got in her bag and was able to cry like that and was just hurt, like when they took her bread and she was fighting off her sister, I was like, oh, I was like, I'm hurting. The music was throwing me off it too because the music was way too cheerful for what was actually happening. Like I was expecting a little bit more
Okay.
like sadness in that point, but I think it was definitely the initial part was like Nami asking for help, and then after that was solidified. It was like okay, it's 8.5 was Luffy's battle axe. That joint was elite, bro. I was like, yo,
Yeah, I
I
actually
like
brought down
this.
our long park.
Yeah. And everything after that, I didn't really care about. I was just like, all right, I'm trying to finish it. I just want to make sure I see everything so we can start the podcast. Because it literally came down to the end.
Yeah.
Like, I have to finish this within this amount of time. So that's why I gave it an 8.5. It was solid. It was good. I really liked it. But it's still like live action is still not. It's not there. Like it's
Mhm.
close, but it's still not like the transponder snails, bruh. They should just CGI them joints. Like I don't
Better,
know
better,
why
better, better, better,
they didn't
better.
even make the sound. They didn't even
I
make the
know.
sound,
I
bruh.
wish they would have done it just better, 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 better,
Cause
better.
that was like one of the things I loved most about this show. Just like those transponder snails, bro. So funny. Um, but yeah, that's all I got, man. So is there anything else before we get into what we geeked about? Final thoughts, final whatever.
I don't think so. I'm good job Netflix for taking a leap. Good
Okay.
job.
They finally got
Good
one.
job.
Third
I
time's a
hope
charm.
so. Yeah, third time's a charm because oof.
Ah,
What was it?
okay.
Death Note and I didn't even watch the Cowboy Bebop one.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. But what you geeked about this week, bro?
It's football season, man. It's right
Okay.
around the corner. I
Okay.
I can't stop. It's about to take over everything. You know, I'm about to stop watching baseball, about to stop watching soccer. I'm just gonna be, watching the Cowboys lose and watching the Commanders,
Wow.
take them W's. And that's all like I'm gonna care about going forward from now on.
Y'all see the strays, bruh? That's a crazy stray. Like, I'm
I
telling
think that's
y'all.
all that's what all of America does, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Cowboys
A-
don't even be like saying nothing and they just get hate. They just get hate, bro. We just get hate for no reason.
And they don't be saying nothing. They don't be saying nothing.
You see,
Uh,
the GOAT was talking to my mans the other day. He was
who?
talking, Tom Brady was talking to Dak today
Oh,
in practice.
said
How to get him right.
said don't worry about it. Go win the Super Bowl this year.
That's right. That's right. He out of the
Okay,
league now. He
okay.
can do it.
Yeah, yeah. He
You
probably
know?
said, "Hey, man, if you break your leg, I'm gonna come be your backup.
That's crazy.
Lead him to the
That's
Super
crazy.
Bowl. I'll show you how it's done."
Bro. If Tom Brady ever went to the Cowboys, that'd be insane, bro.
He probably should have a few years ago. That'd have been insane.
Yeah. I don't know if people would like that though. But it's Tom Brady. So
The league would have been in trouble, but good thing
yeah.
that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what you geeked about, G? Anything popping up this week?
Uh pretty much just Colorado Buffs.
Oh, sports again. Okay.
Yeah. They beat freaking TCU game 1, bro. And now they're on to Nebraska. I've been following Colorado since Dion got there. Um, but it was really when I saw the documentary that was on, I think it was on Amazon.
Amazon.
And
Coach Prime.
yeah, and I got to see like just everything that he's been doing since he's been a coach or whatever. Cause I knew he was a coach like a long time ago. But you know, to see that they're actually like televising it and then also documenting the whole process is very inspiring. And like it's cool just because we get a inside scoop every single day. Like it reminds me of old Optic days where it was just like I got to see my favorite team compete every weekend, but then throughout the week I'm getting to see like different little videos here and there about like what it's actually like to be in that space. So um it has me super excited for football, and that is very uncommon for me. You know, I have my teams, but I'm more of a basketball guy for sure. Like any day of the week, football games be too long, bruh. And I feel like I be jinxing my team, so I just be watching the highlights. But this year, I might actually watch some. We'll see, we'll see. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I don't think I got anything else other than just I'm almost well, I'm not even almost done. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, Icky Island. It's the actually back in my gaming bag of finishing games. Because I have a backlog, bro, and it's bad. It's bad. And I wanna get back on track. Cause there's a lot of games coming out soon that I wanna play. So yeah, man. And we in the gym. That's it. That's all I got. Getting brolic. You know what I'm saying? Strength cycle 2023. Let's get it. But that's going to do it for us. We appreciate y'all for tuning in once again. Let us know what y'all thought in the comments sections below, and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave the podcast 5-star review, and we'll catch y'all next week, man. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.